I am very excited for the possibilities of Ant-Man in that Kang the Conqueror is a great setup. Now, let's be honest. We know who our future villains are going to be. We're either going to have a villain where it's Doctor Doom or Kang the Conqueror or Takana or Loki in some way, or Thanos returns, or Galactus, or some Celestial, or Apocalypse from, or Dark Phoenix, any of those kind of villains. And then we haven't even gotten into the Spider-Man Sinister Six and all the Spider-Man villains that are perfect to join and do stuff in a Dark Avengers and a whole battle of villains versus heroes that they didn't really get to do because it was just Thanos and the Chitauri taking on everybody. So we haven't even, I can say right now the character that's really getting the slump of stuff is the Guardians of the Galaxy and Captain Marvel and Shang-Chi. So we're looking at characters now where we want to have the Punisher, we want to have Daredevil, we want to have Blade, but it really seems now like Kang the Conqueror has just killed all the the Hell's Kitchen kind of neighborhoods, friendly neighborhood, Batman-esque, rated R-ish heroes. Because it seems to me that the character that's really going to the video game, I haven't even played it, but the just seeing the Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel is really going to be a big deal. I think if they do it right, Miss Marvel will be the new girl version. The same way we feel about Spider-Man when we saw him in Civil War. Uh, Peter is going to be graduating, and Kamala Khan and him could date. Kamala Khan and him could. I don't know if she ever dated because I know he's dating Gwen Stacy again, and Liz or MJ or whatever. He's gonna go through all that. But we're definitely getting to a time now where the Marvel part of it is still awesome. We just got off of Endgame, and while we lost Black Panther with Chadwick Boseman, the character I believe will be recast one day in the sense of there'll be a new guy who's the new T'Challa, or they'll just do T'Challa with just recasting him as soon as maybe 8 or 7 or 8, 9 years go by. So, if we wait 10 to 7 to 8 years, we could just have Shuri being and some other Wakandans take the place, and then they introduce the brand new Black Panther. And as we look at what we're going on Ant-Man 3, look at Ant-Man 3. Ant-Man 3 is going to be so awesome that it's going to be able to, I believe, the emotional moment. There's so many stories where you can go with it, and one of the stories they want to go with is that uh, Kang becomes this guy named Nathaniel, and he goes to Avengers headquarters, and he sees that Scarlet Witch destroyed Avengers headquarters, and there was a big battle, and he was there, and it's kind of like this whole right after Endgame, somebody had to come and pick everything up. So we see Kang there. But to really be honest, whether this is Kang in his first movie or in his second movie, I know we're going to see the Hulk and Kang because we had a character, Himes Dolfgott, the one Himes the one that Idris Elba's character, the one that transported him away from Thanos back to Doctor Strange, that probably had to do a little bit with Kang and the time travel, in that maybe the Hulk was so important that the Incredible Hulk was important in defeating Loki and the Chitauri when they first invaded New York in 2012. And then the Hulk was even more important in that he had to go and uh, talk to the Ancient One to get the time gem, and he was genius enough, like a Pym, to create the Pym particles and time travel so that they could do what they needed anyway to save the trillions of people. And he was the only one who could do the Thanos snap with the Infinity Gauntlet and not die like Iron Man. So Hulk is so important, and we want to keep seeing Hulk. We realize we're going to see Hulk with She-Hulk. We're going to introduce She-Hulk, but maybe not an Ant-Man. Maybe it's just too many characters. We have to make a choice whether we see She-Hulk in Ant-Man or if we just see her in her TV series, which is great on Disney Plus. But seeing She-Hulk, whoever they cast for that is going to be just amazing. Whoever they can cast is going to be a great character. But She-Hulk is coming. It's cousin she's going to be in out there in the press, and so She-Hulk is there. She's more of a lawyer, I think. So definitely awesome to see the fact that the number one reason, and I know I've been rambling, the number one thing about Ant-Man is we all debated the Back to the Future 2 storyline of, if we go back in time and we mess with the timeline, it will change future events. And they said, no, you can't change any kind of event. You're just kind of creating multiple timelines and everything's okay. So if someone comes right now and kills me and I have to be alive 30 years from now doing stuff, well, that it's just like, well, it already exists. Once you created the music, it played somewhere. But you go, but I went right in time before you even sang a song. And you go, yeah, but the song was heard because you came back to hear it. So I think maybe what they should do with that whole thing is to honor Back to the Future in that. We do need to establish that yes, it does make sense that Kang can go back to a specific the Phantom Eagle project, which was the weapon that was able to destroy the German mortars that allowed for World War One to for the enemy to lose. It could be Hydra, it could be Germans, anybody, but they allowed them to lose the battle because Kang went back and destroyed did destroy the German mortars, or didn't allow them to be destroyed. And he killed people, and those people didn't go on to have sex to make a baby. So Bruce Banner's ancestor is there and he dies. So no Hulk is born. If no Hulk is born, there's no gamma radiation. So then that means there is no snap with his gamma thing. We know Loki's going to show up anyway. There's no Hulk to fight Loki. Now the Avengers 2012, there is no Hulk, and they needed the Hulk to all get together and fight him in the helicarrier, and he's not there, so there is no Incredible Hulk, and there's no Bruce Banner. So we want that alone feels like an Incredible Hulk movie. But then we realize that's just the setup, the first plot point of this is Smart Hulk becoming Hulk again. That when Kang throws him in the time uh, stream or whatever, he does so he to break the barrier, his strength, he makes him go back to being angry Hulk again, not Smart Hulk. And we have the old Hulk that we all loved from Thor Ragnarok, and the one who used to be on the Avengers, Angry Hulk. So we need Smart Hulk and Angry Hulk at the same time. Then we realize that as great as that is, who are the heroes who are going to go and stop all this? Because Hulk is just going to punch his way through the situation, punch, 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 and fight. So as we see that punch, punch fighting happen, we know there's another character that needs to come in and punch, punch fight, which we want to save for an ultimate Marvel DC, DC Marvel kind of Marvel versus Marvel moments, which is we want to see the Thing fight the Incredible Hulk. So we realize, well, how do we introduce the Thing? Well, we have Zarko, the character that's Tomorrow Man. He's coming. He's coming to get Ant-Man and the Wasp, where he was supposed to get Iron Man and Spider-Man in the comics, but there's no way they're going to get Iron Man. There's no way they're going to get Spider-Man. If anything, they'll get a Spider-Man, and they won't have the Wasp. But it seems like they're going to do Ant-Man and the Wasp. They're a team, and the Pims and everyone is a team. But it would be cool to have an Ant-Man and a Spider-Man kind of somehow be involved. And as we see that all this is connecting. We have Spider-Man's movie where he just got outed as being a super celebrity superhero. So he's the Kim Kardashian of New York in terms of like his family and following him around. Then you realize that's the Fantastic Four. Everybody's going to see them all the time, like they have shows with cameras and they're famous. So that's Spider-Man and the Fantastic Four joining up. And Uh, then we haven't even talked about if there's Kang Conqueror and there was Thanos. Captain Marvel hasn't talked about the Silver Surfer. We haven't introduced the Silver Surfer, the Eternals, the Celestials, all that. So we see that Captain Marvel, the Guardians of the Galaxy, and Silver Surfer are dealing with everything of outside the planet Earth, all the other worlds. So, and the Eternals and things like that, and the Inhumans. So we have a Silver Surfer that could possibly deal with the Fantastic Four and Spider-Man, and cosmic, not nano, uh, iron metal arc reactor power, but cosmic power, and that gives us Galactus. So that's cool. And we're slowly building, and we have what I would say is enough for three phases, almost 3 year, 3 year, 3 year, 3 year, 3 year. We have so much enough that it's not going to feel like Thanos where characters die and then we just kind of are scared and we want the story to end. It's going to be an exciting Marvel time of, oh my God, we still have Spider-Man's amazing stories that are amazing, as we saw Mysterio and Vulture. Now there's Venom. When is Venom going to come in? When is Carnage going to come in? When is the Green Goblin going to come in? Doctor Octopus, Electro. We have all those villains, even more. The Lizard. So, we see all this stuff, and it's Spider Man going to college, graduating, going to college, and being famous now that he's Spider Man and Peter Parker at the same time. So we see that. That's about in the Spider Man movie. Then we see Ant-Man going, man, I really was a nobody. I was just like, I was a heist. I stole an Ant-Man suit. I fought, a character that was connected to Hank Pym, and I got involved. And I came back and I thought, let's do the time heist. Let's steal the Infinity Stones with the quantum realm, go from one point to another, and Iron Man helped them. And they stole the stones and they gave them to the Hulk, and he brought it back. And then there was the big Infinity battle and Black Panther and everything. So we have what I see is we have Shuri becoming the Black Panther in either post Endgame time or right after Endgame when Spider-Man is done with his trip and he's being outed, or before that time, or during the time when Black Panther blipped and we're seeing Shuri and Takana, and she's a future rogue villain. And we see that Wakanda is going through Latverian battle. Then we see that Namor, underwater submariner, is living his life, and that could connect to Wakanda too. And Kang can connect to the Eternals and the Celestials, but he's connecting to Ant-Man because he's a human with a little bit of a technology. Then you see he's a conqueror who used to go back into the Egypt days, and that's Apocalypse. It changes the timeline so that mutants can be like a coronavirus disease, that yes, people who have mutation have powers, but everybody else is getting sick still from being a mutant. A mutant gene can kill you just as much as it can give you strength and power. So people are the mutant gene also is able to, when studying it, is able to create flu viruses that are even worse. So it just goes to show you that the mutants are blamed for spreading their sickness onto us. We're not just scared of them because, oh, they have power and they might hurt us. Super like a superhero, we're scared because mutated wise, someone like Toad could fuck us up with Ebola or by spitting on us or things like that. And the juggernauts, and we've gone through so much X-Men that it's impossible to deny that Wolverine, Logan, Hugh Jackman and Deadpool was the best version of Wolverine. But now we have to bring new actors into this new timeline of who's going to be Wolverine, who's going to be Cyclops, who's going to be Jean Grey, who's going to start the school, how is Spider-Man going to be involved. It's this big world where there's Kang and there is Thanos and there's Gamora, and we think maybe Guardians Volume 3 will be the last Guardians James Gunn does. He'll do Ravagers next, he'll do something else, he'll pick another character, but it seems like Volume 3 is the end. So then it'd be great to see Gamora have her own series, since Shuri, Gamora, Black Widow, and Captain Marvel and the Wasp are the only girls that are doing what they need, and Scarlet Witch. So I look at the Ant-Man and I think, wow, Ant-Man was not the character we all thought would introduce Kang. We thought it would be the Avengers. We thought it could be Thor. It could be anyone. And it was Ant-Man. And it's just great to see that. That's awesome. We get to see Ant-Man and the Wasp, the Hulk, the Fantastic Four meeting up, introducing themselves all in Ant-Man. It's a huge movie. And it's important to note they're fighting for what they're fighting for in that movie, but it's building to what next. Now we have the Fantastic Four. Now we have Silver Surfer Galactus. And then we have the Eternals. Then we have the Inhumans. Then we start thinking about the smaller aspects, the Punishers, that bring us to a rated R level of like we're not using guns with blasters. People are using guns, shooting people like the trailer for the Batman when he punches, I'm vengeance. That's the kind of fighting that you'll see in a Daredevil movie, as we saw from the Netflix show with the Kingpin. And we're denying the Agents of Shield stories from the TV universe, and we're denying the universe of the ABC world and the Netflix. But we have to look at them and go, hey, those are pretty cool characters, and they made those work. It sucks we can't take those actors, but we do need to like acknowledge that that stuff worked as a show when nobody was thinking a Daredevil can connect to Captain America the Winter Soldier. So, and it's cool that they shouldn't connect Blade and all that stuff. We can see things from Resurrection, Demon in the Bottle, uh, Hell, Heaven, characters that are Hell and Heaven with Ghost Rider and Iron Fist and it looks like Shang-Chi and the Mandarin might be the only boring Marvel one. Like now that we're introducing Shang-Chi and the Mandarin, he's the one that's you're gonna be like, he's the Poe. He's the Finn and the Poe in Star Wars, where like everybody else is Kylo Ren Rey. They're Poe and Finn. They don't have a villain. They don't get to fight anybody. They just kind of get to be there portraying mission ideology. So I can't imagine Shang-Chi and the Mandarin can do anything because Iron Fist is cool and could do amazing stuff. Luke Cage is great for his own story. And it looks like the Avengers will replace Hawkeye with Miss Marvel like they did in the video game that came out. And just seeing the world of who Kamala Khan wants to be, she is like a Spider-Man. She's like a cool Spider-Man. She's, uh, not a terrorist. What's the term? Like Pakistani, you know, she wears the hood. She's from like another country. She's from those countries, so she's coming, and everyone would consider her to be a terrorist, and she's just Marvel, and Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel. It's like Cap Marvel is the Iron Man, Miss Marvel is the Spider Man. That relationship could really work. To see how that works, if like that's just perfect. It's just perfect. So Kang, I can see that. I would love to see Cosmosians, the Cosmos, that they're gigantic War of the Worlds like creatures that can shrink their ships and bring them big and down and fight. So that would require Ant-Man and the Wasp to help. And then they need the Fantastic Four. Maybe not Reed and Invisible Woman, but the Thing and the Human Torch definitely can help. And then that introduces us to the future, which is Victor Von Doom, uh, Latveria, Wakanda, Von Doom, Takana, Doombringer. All of this world is perfect for the next phase. So Black Widow's just, we have to wait till we see Black Widow and just see where that takes us. But it really, and then there's the Thor movie, which is just going to be a fun Thor movie. It's not as Guardians of the Galaxy. It's just Thor and the mighty Jane, mighty Thor. It's going to be a funny, fun movie, but Thor is still involved. So the ones that we lost were we had Hawkeye's going to a TV show. We didn't get to see him be Ronin. We may be able to see him have Ronin. Scarlet Witch has her own WandaVision show. Whatever they do with that, we don't know. Mutants are coming, not in any time soon, but when they do get here, it'll be Storm, Wakanda, mutate mutants, working with Stryker and the Sentinels, and the sort of Days of Future Past storyline, the Cure storyline again. So yeah, this is just a great Marvel universe, and it all works with Kang. I think if you have Kang and you have Ant-Man and you have all this stuff, it's great. And then you realize you don't really need the Black Panther 2, Shuri the Black Panther, my version, but it would be great if it existed because Takana could go on and you could see her become the Doom now with magic as that goes on for a future Black Panther or for a future story of whatever. Very perfect. Very good Marvel universe. I can't see how the DC universe has anything coming story wise. And if, of course, we don't have Thanos, we don't have someone who just snaps and trillions of people go away, but we still have some players in the game, and Thanos can always come back, as they say, and maybe Iron Man can come back too as another person who's a Stark, or anybody can be Iron Man. War Machine is an Iron Man technically, so it's definitely cool. and it's just all building. It's just all this cool amount of building. So, coronavirus has us screwed. It's hard to do this stuff with coronavirus when everybody's wants to see it in theaters or on Disney Plus, or it's either gonna be on Disney Plus theaters or like, it's tough. It's gonna be tough. So the money amount of it is gonna go down, but I can see Smart Hulk and things like that. So yeah, definitely Kang has really conquered this next phase and bring us a cool place to go to. And we haven't even talked about Guardians Volume 3, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. We haven't even talked about Silver Surfer really. But we know we're introduced in that world. This kind of world is there. And Spider-Man is introduced as well, and Blade, and we want to see Venom and Carnage and all those introduced. So, perfect.